great standing outside of the beautiful and stunning Manitoba Legislature. But there's a sad reality about something that happened here just a few years ago, and that is that this legislature in 2016 passed a law that bans conversion therapy. Now, depending on how you define that term, it might not be a bad thing at all. But the problem is that conversion therapy, as we're explaining on this fall tour all across Canada, conversion therapy has been defined very broadly indeed. In fact, some definitions in some of the laws include counseling, like biblical counseling, or even just conversations with a counselor about childhood struggles, anxiety, and so on, where a child might struggle with something like gender dysphoria. And so counseling that encourages a child to love the body that they have, to love the skin they're in, and be comfortable in the skin they're in, that kind of stuff is now being targeted by some of these very broad conversion therapy bills. And sadly, even this astute legislature here in Manitoba has also banned those kinds of things. So we're encouraging people across this country to think critically about these kinds of issues. We're trying to inform as many people with our fall tour about the issue of conversion therapy, and our next policy report, our published policy report in the next month, will also focus on conversion therapy. What is it? What are we talking about? Are the laws good or bad? Are there good parts or bad parts to the law? And how can we respond in an informed way as a Christian community? So definitely check that out, arpacanada.ca. And make your voice heard as well.
So that building we just passed by there was the Museum of Human Rights here in Winnipeg. And one of the massive things that museum has overlooked, of course, is the human rights violation of the lives of the preborn children, 100,000 of them every year here in Canada that are being lost.
So after a great afternoon at Emmanuel Christian School, we came to this church to set up. Now we're set up and ready to go. We went out, grabbed some dinner, and now we have a ton of volunteers helping us get this event underway. We're looking forward to it. Pretty soon the doors are going to open. We're going to start signing people in, and people are going to get informed. I'm here with the Emmanuel Christian School Club here in Winnipeg, and they've done some really cool stuff in the past couple of years. So how about I flip it over to them and they can tell you all about what they've done.
Alright, so one of the things we really focus on every single year as a club is our Pro-Life Awareness Month. And in that month we work on spreading awareness throughout our school community, the church community, and then the broader community. So throughout this month we'll do a lot of educational presentations and work on our confidence in apologetics, and then we'll actually get out there and talk to people about it. So last year we did a flag display at one of the local churches, and we got a lot of different reactions for that. Yeah, it's just nice to see people learning more about this stuff and becoming more equipped to help with these causes.
We are done the fall tour. It's finished, done, fini. I have 3 of the presenters behind me who went along on this fall tour. It was a great experience for all of us. We met tons of people across the country who were informed. They were plugged in with the work of ARPA, and they were plugged into politics in this country. How about we turn this over to Tabitha, Colin, and Andre, and maybe they have some final remarks.
Yeah, well, one of the things that's really struck me about this fall tour is just going across the country, and you know, we talk a lot about what's happening in the pro-life movement, and it's been really neat to just see it actually in action. I talk about my speech, the idea of small acts of faithfulness matter, and I have seen so many people doing small acts of faithfulness on this tour, or promising to do new small acts of faithfulness, and that's just incredibly encouraging and exciting. So yeah, it's been fantastic.
Well, I feel like a bit of a newbie here talking, just because I've only been on the tour for about 3 of the events so far. So really, somebody like Mark or Ed would have a lot more to say. But on this issue of progress versus regress that we talked about for the presentation tonight, I think one thing if I want to share with the viewer is just to remember the fact that Christianity really did shape the world that we know today. And it's important to understand whose progress is it anyway? And that's a question we tried to answer on this tour. This is a question we asked on this tour as well, and I hope that those who were a part of the tour, who came out and listened to it, also are able to go out into our communities and to be able to share our vision of progress, a biblical vision of progress, to their friends and neighbors as well. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, part of our fall tour has always been engaging with youth as well. And I think one of the things that I found most exciting on Fall Tour 2019 was being able to present to high school students across Ontario and Manitoba, engaging with them, teaching, but also being inspired by their excitement and their interest and their passion to want to be culture shapers, culture makers in Canada in the next 5, 10, 20, 30 years. And I think that should give us a lot of hope and encouragement as well. Like God has blessed the Christian community with children, and when we invest in them and give them the tools to make a difference, big things can happen. Huge, wonderful, transformative things can happen. And I'm really excited about the future for Canada, because we could have, by God's grace, a revival here touching on every aspect of culture, including politics. So yeah, I found that exciting and inspiring, and I hope they did too. I hope all the youth that we presented to were inspired as well.
So it's the end of the Fall Tour vlogs. Thank you so much for watching. And if you are interested in learning more about ARPA and what we do, there's tons on our YouTube channel. Go to youtube.com/ARPA Canada. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.